I have found medical gold. So I've had people ask me many times, of all the supplements that I take or recommend, is there one or a few that I just would say everybody should have? And I've got one that I want to tell you a story about. So when my kids were young, my older son, he had extremely bad diaper rash. This sounds silly, but he dealt with it for a long time and it just never went away. We tried everything. We talked to the doctor, tried medicine. We tried keeping him dry. So we actually just let him run around the house with no diaper on and in hopes that maybe that would make the rash go away. And even that didn't help. We could not figure out what it was. But what I did notice, there was one day that he started to seem like he was fighting an infection, like starting to get sick. He wasn't full on sick, but you could tell his immune system was being overworked, basically. And then when he did, the diaper rash got worse. And so I thought, okay, wait a minute. So there's got to be some kind of an immune connection with that if I can help his immune system function better, then maybe the diaper rash will go away. I got online and I did tons and tons of research and just really couldn't find much. And then I came across this one site, and actually I was looking for other things too. And it was Weston A. Price was the foundation that I looked at. There was some other research that I found, but they talked about fermented cod liver oil. And basically what this is, it's cod liver oil, but they ferment it. And the fermentation process, it preserves it. So it keeps in all the naturally occurring vitamins and good stuff that comes with it. But it also, in the fermentation process, it creates new nutrients. And so they talked about all these different benefits, and I looked into it, and they said that they did lots of research on various conditions. One was heart disease. They found a significant drop in certain heart disease parameters in the study group that took fermented cod liver oil versus a control group that did not. There was another study that talked about the incidence of cavities, and cavities went down significantly in the study group versus a control group. And then I read more about the cavities, and that got me interested with that because I've actually heard many times that you can actually have your body heal a cavity, and I've always wondered, how does that happen? And so started connecting to the dots and learned more about the fermented cod liver oil and learned that in certain indigenous cultures, they do that. They ferment certain oils, so the fermented cod liver oil would actually be stored in a vat outside. It would be preserved because of the fermentation. But in those cultures that would take that daily, their incidence of cavities was almost none. Now you could say there's other parts of it too, and I can understand that. But again, it made me think of all these different things. And so with that, I knew there had to be an immune connection in some way. So anyway, going back to my son, the diaper rash. At his age, because he was still too young to really be taking a whole lot of supplements, I thought, I've got the liquid form of this. It's a little plastic syringe, and I could just shoot literally like 1 milliliter in his mouth. Let's see what happens. So I did. So that was day one. Day two, he woke up significantly better. I'm like, no kidding. So nothing else changed. So I did it again. 1 milliliter in the plastic syringe, and so that was day two. We got to day three. Day three, he woke up. It was gone. Never came back. No matter what. Even if we accidentally let him sit in his diaper when it was wet for an hour or whatever, it never came back. All the factors that somebody would tell me that is the cause of diaper rash, it never came back. So that was an immune function that we improved by taking this fermented cod liver oil. So that was one personal experience, not to mention all the research that I did. So my personal experience, I did read the things on cavities, and so we'll fast forward, say it was, because that was a long time ago, maybe fast forward 5 years from that date. I went to the dentist, and the dentist told me that I had a cavity. I'm like, okay, well that stinks. I feel like I'm doing everything right. I'm brushing, I'm flossing, I'm doing whatever. But I told him, I said, give me 6 months. I'm going to see if I can heal it on my own. You may think I'm crazy, but let's re-x-ray in 6 months and let's see what happens. What did I do? I really didn't do a whole lot of changes. I mean, my diet is pretty similar all the time anyway, but the one major change is I started taking a relatively high dose of the fermented cod liver oil. I believe back then I was taking probably 6 to 9 servings of that a day, which is a relatively high dose. And I did it for a long time. I did it for that 6 months, and I was the test subject. I wanted to see what would happen. So I went back, and when they redid the x-ray, the cavity was smaller. And they're like, well, we don't need to do anything about it now because it looks like it's getting smaller and it's definitely not growing. I was like, great. Okay. So now at that point, for whatever the reason, I had life things come up and I didn't go to the dentist for a long time. This last week, I went back to the dentist. Of course, they want to do x-rays and look at everything. And I just didn't, actually, this was a new dentist, so they didn't know that I had that cavity. And so they took the x-rays and I wanted to hear what they said. I didn't ask about the one that I knew that I had at one point. And when they said, kind of gave me the report of my teeth, the tooth that had the cavity originally, nothing, not even there, gone. They didn't say anything about it. And I looked at the x-rays too, and there was no darkness on the x-ray. There was nothing there. It was gone. Now, I'm not going to say that I can promise everybody can heal a cavity like this. I'm just saying that it happened to me and that it's possible. And my point is, fermented cod liver oil has so many benefits. I've seen it firsthand in my son's diaper rash. I've seen it with my cavity. It literally cured my cavity. The research talks about heart disease and all the many things that it can do. So this is one of the ones. This is one of the ones that if you're asking, what should I take every day? What is one thing that everybody should be taking in general for the rest of your life? Because I'm going to take it till the day that I die. Fermented cod liver oil. If you have interest and you don't know how to find it, there's one brand that I trust. There's one brand that we sell in my office, and I take it every day. Both my boys take it, my wife takes it, I take it, and my dad takes it because I make him. We see great changes with this. And really at this point, it's more health maintenance and prevention. So if you have questions, call the office. If you want to know the brand, come see me. I'll set you up with this medical gold. And again, let's have optimal health together.